Iritah means like the friends or the companion. Ta, the earth. It's like the friends of the earth or the companion of the earth. Is my generation initiation function in a kind of generation, like it's like a group of young or group of people who go through the initiation, and then those group of people will be the one like to graduate, to come out, to finish their initiation, and then get a generation name that will kind of show when they went into the initiation and who they are. Shenmira means the one protected by the divinity Ra. Kemetic, yeah, I know in the West, more often when people talk about Kemetic, everybody just thinking about the land that is called now Egypt, or maybe the Sudan, and that's actually a mistake that the Egyptologists brought into the field of knowledge. One thing people need to understand is like you cannot be the one to tell someone about his history. And more often what we notice in this place in the modern society is like they educate students, they educate people, and they create this discipline to call it Egyptology. And all of those people who are studying that discipline are the one that kind of bringing confusion into the modern people's mind and understanding. So Kemetic is actually a land that is or Kemet. We say first Kemet. Kemet is like the name of the place, and the place is not just like Africa, the continent that everybody knows as Africa. The place is not just like Africa when we talk about Kemet. Kemet included some part of the east, some part of the Europe, and some part of the west as well, because the Pharaoh, the time of the Pharaoh was not just like the king of just the Egypt, like where the Nile Valley is. No, he was not just a king. He was a king of many places. Just the same way like the Romans and the Greeks, the Persians, and all of that tried to conquer, and to gain more places, to gain more lands, to be the one like ruling those lands. So at the time of the pharaohs tried to conquer other lands, but not really like with violence and killings and all that, but through the knowledge. We are building this civilization. We are working on this aspect of the knowledge. We are trying to discover what's this. Are you ready to come and get together with us, and then all of us join our strength, and then keep looking into whatever is in this field or in that field or in other fields? So that's what was called Kemet. And Kemet is a word coming from the concept Kem. Kem means what? Kem means a person who is living by his life by principles, a person of principles, a person of quality. That's what we call Kem. And a Kem is a person who is ready to just live and die. A Kem, the goal of a Kem is like come into existence, perpetuate, come into life, perpetuate himself, keep becoming perfect, and then the goal of becoming perfect is what? Die one day, transition one day, and then reincarnate and come back and continue the growth that, or the perfection that we are looking for as human beings. So that's the concept of Kem. And now that's where the word is coming from. Kemet is coming from, and now I don't know if you call it adjective, Kemetic is coming from. And well, people have the tendency of confusing and just thinking like Kemet is just the land of the pharaohs, like the Nile Valley, and all of the other tribes in Africa or in the East or in the Middle East. Some part of the Middle East and some part of Europe are not part of the civilization that the pharaohs started. Well, I hear people talk about the Dogon and just putting it like the Dogon are different from the Egyptian, people, and some people talking about maybe the voodoo. Some people doing voodoo, they think voodoo is something that's different from village or the civilization that was built by people around the Nile Valley. The same thing like Yoruba. People think like that are like really like it's just like one people. And everything started as a seed, and then we have the roots, and then we have the tree, and then the branches, and then the leaves. That's how that civilization started. And all of those cultures, or all of those tribes that we have the tendency of naming and trying to kind of put them in a different spot, trying to differentiate them, like those people are different from these ones. It's just us human beings trying to, expose our arrogance or expose our lack of knowledge about really like the history of humanity. And when we talk about the history of humanity, it's only through the books of the history that you can get it. And the books of the history are not written in English or in French or in Spanish or in, because those languages are just like new languages. And even in our culture, we don't even call those languages like language, because those are like dialects. Those languages are dialect, meaning from Greeks, Roman, and Latin, they put those some words together to make English. And the same with French, the same with Spanish and all that. So they are not really like original languages to even like give someone the knowledge that the person needs to know, or the knowledge the person needs to have, or the real information that the people needs to really like obtain. So when we talk about language, we have like the hieroglyphs that we teach, and that's actually one question sometimes I ask myself is like, modern people are really like just bringing this confirmation when the science is saying that we are using less than, the modern person is using less than 10% of his brain, and it looks like it's just like something that's kind of a confirmation of when you the state of the human being. It's just thinking about hey, whatever is in the book, that's what needs to be considered, or whatever the government said, or whatever the politician said, or whatever the priest or the pastor said. Those are like the things that they need to consider. But no one like have made the decision to kind of ask themselves, what was the original language of humanity? Because humanity started, even if today they try to deny the Africa being like the cradle of humanity, at least we have to understand that this planet is very old. This planet is a very old place, and then civilization lived on this planet before even us, the modern people we come to be. So when those people were living, what was the language that those people were speaking? And then, because the logic is like, if I have my father, I have my grandfather, it's only one person that I will go and ask for information about something that happened before my father was born, meaning my grandfather. So looking for knowledge, trying to find out about knowledge, you don't go to the new people, and you don't go to the dialects and trying to get your knowledge out of what the dialects are telling you. Instead, it's better to go to the original, those who are closest to the original languages, and then they will be the one to tell you really like what it is. And when you look at the tribes that people have the curiosity to really like study now, those tribes, when you put them together, have almost like the same roots. When even just talking about the language, they have the same roots. There's nothing that differentiates those people. Maybe the white men just made sure to kind of come and then put some line, imagine just kind of put general lines to separate, like, okay, to here this is Ghana, from here to here this is France, from here to here this is England, all that. And those lines are just like things that don't even exist. It's just like in our psychology that we think like there's a border between, you know, France and, or there's a border between Ghana and Burkina. So we don't really have that. The only thing we have is like we are just like one people. And then when we talk about Kemet, we all are Kem people. We all are Kem people. As long as we always try to follow the principle of being a Kem, you will be a Kem. You are a Kem people, a Kem person. So that's really like how I will, you know, put things there to get people to really like, you know, start checking, trying to check, even like doing the researches, trying to do the researches in the things that will kind of, you know, get you to the results that you are expecting, instead of you know, what is put there for you to just like take in the book or take because the discipline that the modern society created, sort of studying the Egyptology and all that. Even I was saying, I would always say like, you look into our all of the writings, and those who know how to read the Medu, how to read the hieroglyphs, and all of those who know how to speak, write it, if they check, they will never find a word Egypt in those writing, and then to even think the word means a country. That was the name of the country. That name is the name of the land where, you know, they think that we have like all of the structures that our ancestors built, like the pyramids and all that. Is there any human being that can look at themselves and show one part of their body that is not coming from either their mother or their father? Like personally, wherever I'm sitting now, I have a mother and a father, and I can't show anything on me right now that's just like me. Like I'm the one. If it's not something that came from my father and my mother, you know, working for it to be the way it is, or for me to be the way I am right now. And that's how life really comes. Life is about things getting together to bring results. And that's what we call preservation. And what the spirit of our ancestors are something that don't just die or don't just go. Sure, we get rid of our body when it's time, and people die because the body can no more take it. People die because the body is tired. People die because, you know, their energies are no more useful for this planet. That's okay, but once we die and we get rid of our body, the spirit is, you know, we have like the other aspect of ourselves. The other aspect of our body is and we have as physical, and there's another part that's like physical. I mean, that's like spiritual, that exists, and that's the part that is the most important things to kind of maintain and protect and keep feeding, even in the spiritual world. So as people call us that, say that we are evil, and whatever we do, we still like in the darkness, we are savage and all that. Well, I don't see why someone who has the brain to think about people who lived before him be a savage or be a barbarian, and then someone who just came into life, and then because the father died or the mother died or the grandfather died, and that's it, forget about them and keep living like he just coming from, he just like from a tree, from a river, and just keep living your life without thinking like you still have those people in you, and consider that person to be like someone who is like civilized. That's not civilization. That's really like going, the human being race going down, going lower than even where the animal cannot go. Even dogs and some animals know that this is my father and this is my father. And this is my father, this is my mother. They know this, they know family. And then even you see a dog that sees another dog that's dead, you will see even that dog like expressing like some sorrow for the other dog suffering. But we modern people don't really like see the world, the existence in that way, and then we're still thinking that we are the one kind of civilized, and we are, go moving forward. moving forward from where to what, where are we going, what's our goal, what is going to be our final destination, if that's how we have to keep functioning as human beings. So we want people to think about, that aspect of the ancestral spirits, and understand that it's a very big aspect of our existence that cannot, take away from us. Even if the religions are trying to take it away from us, or the politicians are trying to take it away from us, or other spiritual system that don't have like usury, that don't have like rules, trying to take those type of things away from us. One thing I would like people to know is, like, in my culture, I go to see a priest who is trying to read my destiny and don't say anything about my ancestor. Don't tell me like you have to do this for your ancestor. When I get up, I don't go back to that priest, because who am I without those ancestors? Who am I without those people's spirits that kind of was right now in my body? So meaning, like, the spirit of our ancestors, like, since the time, at the beginning of the time, is still with us. And when I'm going to be dying, I'm going to be passing down that spirit, of those spirits, including mine, to my children. And that's how life functions. So it's like from the father to the mother, from the daughter to the child, and that's how it goes. So we want people to understand that ancestral spirit is the aspect of the human beings that allow the human being to kind of, feel, themselves and know themselves. I hear people say, like, I'm walking this path because I'm trying to know myself. I'm walking this path because this is who I am. But when you look at the path that they're walking, and then you'll be asking yourself a question, man, why will a black person be walking the path of the Chinese people? I never seen a Chinese person trying to do voodoo. I never seen a Chinese person trying to do Yoruba, anything like that. So why are only the black people trying to always kind of do something that, other people, did? There's a story that, if I can just tell that story, most of that story is kind of, will make people laugh, or will make people kind of smile. But when you take time and then think about that story, you'll be like, man, so is that to say, like, black people are kind of, the one not knowing who they are and still acting like they know who they are? The story is like, one day there's a deity, a divinity that kind of manifested itself, and has, an Arab, someone from the Middle East, has like someone from the West, a white person. Those you call whites, but we don't really call them whites, but those people who call like white, we call them Europeans. So, and then someone from Africa, like a black person, and then he asked the divinity asked them, like, okay, since the time of your ancestors and what you've been doing on earth, your ancestors did on earth, and now you are right now like enjoying that heritage, what do you have right now as a result to present to me? And then if you bring me results, what will you like for me to kind of, give you? What blessings or what grace you want me to give you to kind of perpetuate it? Well, they from the West side, I like, well, my ancestors, with the knowledge and all of the abilities that you gave to my ancestors, they did a lot. They went around, they traveled everywhere on this planet, they forced people, they imposed their knowledge on people, and then at the end, we end up having the Bible. That now we got many people following you and asking those people to worship you to what we have as all of the knowledge that we collected and put together in a book for them to kind of be able to achieve you. That definitely is like, wow, that's good. So you have like a whole knowledge of things in a book, and then people read it, and then they follow me, and they follow us. They know how to worship us. Say, yes, wow, that's ingenious, that's good. What about you? They turn to the brother who is from, who is like Arab. And they ask the person like, well, our ancestors also did almost the same. We travel around, we impose it, our philosophy and everything. And at the end, we have a book that we pull like all of the collections of the knowledge that we have. And we call that book the Quran. And then based on that book, everybody, many people are now like, following you and worshiping you through that book. The divinity is like, wow, that's very good. And what about you, brother? And that's one of our brother, a black person. He's like, well, I just spent my life studying all of those two books to really like, be able to achieve you. It's like, what do you mean you just spend your life trying to study these two books? Like, well, that's what I have. Okay, well, the story is told, when my master told me about that story, it kind of make me laugh. I was like, oh, that's, for me, I thought like, man, that black guy is intelligent. He has like two books, while other people have like one book that they're using, but he has two books that he's using. That's good. I mean, he's kind of smart. But after time, my master is like, my father is like, man, can you think about it and see how retarded it is for you to just be having like, while everybody is trying to have like less work to do and focus on themselves, you find a reason to have like more work to do, and then you don't focus on yourself, you focus on what everybody already did. Life is not about what other people already achieved. Life is about what will you achieve from where you are right now. So all those people already achieved those things. Maybe right now those people are more focused on trying to see what's in those books. Like the Arabs and the white people, they don't even look at the Bible. Some of them don't even look at the Bible or look at the Quran right now because they're working on other things. They are putting their energies on other things. But at the same time, we as black people have the pride to be standing, in the face of this planet, thinking that our pride is only gonna come from the only aspect of being able to know what other people already did. What about what our ancestors did? What about what the spirits, all of those spirits that were thrown in the sea from the ships? What about all of those people, those spirits, men and women who died in the sugar canes and who died at sugarcane farms and all that? What about them? What about those that we still have dying, that the system is even like working hard to kind of, kill every day? You can see why in the whole face of on the whole face of humanity, on the face of the planet, the black person is the only one who always has to go and then ask for other people to do something for them, or kind of kneeling down in front of other people, because we forgot something that's very powerful in our lives. We forgot something that's very powerful in our existence, the ancestral spirit. You didn't worship your ancestors. You kind of disregard your ancestors and go start worshiping other people's ancestors. You go worship Jesus, you go worship Mahomet and all of that. They are not your ancestors. Maybe they're trying to show you like there's one God. Is it really like we really talking about a God that they know, or a God that we all agree on to? So that's really like a big problem, where we are trying to kind of ask people to understand that the ancestral spirit is something very important that we need to do. And it doesn't take a lot to really like reconnect with your ancestors. It doesn't take a lot. It's not really like a big work. Let's forget about what they try to tell us in the Bible and the Quran. That's like evil and all that. The Quran and the Bible already look at us as evil. So why will you expect someone that you look as evil not to do evil? If we are evil, you look at us already as evil, just let us do our evil thing to keep moving forward, because we have generations to come. We have our children and children to come that we have to leave them some heritage, and one day for them to be able to stand in the face of the planet and say, hey, our ancestors also fought, and then this is what they have for us. So whoever wants to they want to follow this will have to kneel in front of us. Or whoever wants this will have to one day respect us. Now we want white people to respect us. We want the Arab to respect us. We're asking the planet to respect black people. But they can respect you while they're the one giving you their knowledge. They're the one giving you a God to work. They're the one giving you the knowledge that you need to have. So that's really like a big problem that I would it would be very smart and for the people who are listening or who are watching this to understand that ancestral spirit might not be important for the people from the West, meaning like the European, because they didn't know that we knew God before them. We knew like divinities before them. We knew like there was like higher beings before those people. So they didn't know any of those type of things. And we do have to understand that we have something that's in us.